Thomas Yolande from BBC. Thank you very much for taking our questions, and thank you to the GPO for having us. I want to ask, the US is taking steps to cut aid to the Palestinians. The Israeli parliament is looking at withholding tax revenues from the Palestinian Authority because of this issue of prisoner salaries. Are you worried that this could lead to the collapse of the Palestinian Authority? And if that happens, what would Israel do about it?
No, I don't think it will lead to the collapse of the Palestinian Authority, but I think they should redirect their funds to other things. Since you speak about funding, I want to make clear what our position is on UNRWA. Okay, my position is that it's not a question of defunding UNRWA, it's a question of replacing UNRWA with, after 70 years, with an agency that will actually address the real needs of real refugees. There are millions of refugees around the world. They're all taken care of by the UN High Commissioner of Refugees and some other UN establishments, but only the Palestinians have a specialized, a specific organization that is supposed to solve the refugee problem, in fact, perpetuates it. That's what UNRWA does. And so it's time. How long are we going to have UNRWA? Another 7 years? We already have great-great-grandchildren of refugees who are not refugees, but they're listed on the, on the list of UNRWA. So I suggest something else. I suggest a gradual conversion of all funds going to UNRWA to other agencies that deal with the question of refugees and actually have criteria. This will not have negative effects. It will have positive effects, because the perpetuation of the dream of bringing the descendants of refugees back to Jaffa is what sustains this conflict. UNRWA is part of the problem, not part of the solution. It's time to bring another organization into being. The ones that exist.
I'm from Press Trust of India. You'll be leaving for India in a few days from now, and you'll be meeting your friend Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, there. And my question is, were you disappointed at the way India voted at the UN General Assembly on the question of Jerusalem? And India has recently cancelled a defense deal of $500 million with Israel. How is it going to impact relations between India and Israel?
Well, I would have preferred another vote, to be frank, but I don't think it materially changes the tremendous flowering of relations between India and Israel. I think everybody can see that. President Modi's visit was a very important milestone in that. My visit to India is the other one, and I think you're going to see an expansion of economic and other ties, regardless of this or that deal. Over time, I hope I'd see also a reflection of that more often in the international, in the voting of India in international forums. And I say that to the journalists who come from a variety of countries with whom Israel is now deepening relations. And we'd like to see that ultimately reflected also in international forums. It doesn't nullify the fact that with India, with the other countries in Asia, with countries in Latin America and Africa, there is a tremendous increase of relations on all fronts. It just takes longer on the international front.
Last question. Okay, please.
Hi, yes. Lissy Kaufmann, German media, reporting for the Tagesspiegel and Focus magazine. Mr. Prime Minister, Trump has announced the ultimate deal, and now Pence is about to come to the region in less than 2 weeks. What would your ultimate deal look like?
Well, why don't you let Mr. Trump present his first, and then we'll see what the penultimate deal is and what the ultimate deal is. It takes time. I don't know if he'll present it, but we certainly haven't announced at any time that we'll walk away, because Mr. Trump said something that is so self-evident. He said that the government, the seat of government of Israel is in Jerusalem. The Knesset, our parliament, is in Jerusalem. The judiciary, the Supreme Court, is in Jerusalem. You know that's not going to change. You know that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel under any deal, ultimate or not. Everybody understands, with a deal, without a deal, Jerusalem is Israel's capital, and therefore it makes sense also to move the American embassy there. I appreciate the fact that they're... Thank you. That's good. I hope some foreign journalists were applauding now. Because it's so obvious, it's so true. So I think that was very important. In any case, Mr. Abbas has used this statement to seek a way to essentially run away from the negotiations. He's done it before. He did it, his predecessor, Arafat, ran away from Camp David with President Clinton. Abbas ran away from such an arrangement as well. And he also ran away from a proposed discussion that President Obama suggested based on Mr. Kerry's deliberations. But he ran away from all of them. So he ran away again, surprise. I think the last thing you should do as journalists is to give him credence. You want to negotiate peace, you've got to negotiate. We've never put any preconditions on negotiations, and I don't do so now. And of course, if President Trump puts forward his proposal, his ideas, I'll study them very carefully.